Be comfortable with not knowing. Being comfortable with not knowing is an epic karmic lesson. Tests come in times that we don't see the answers, right? Sometimes all we know is the destination, but not the how that we'll get there. There's always a plan. The peace comes in trusting God and taking it one step at a time. You may not know, but God knows. In the bigger scheme of things, that's all that really matters. Hello, Sagittarius, Princess Indy here. Welcome to your August reading. If you are new, hello. How you doing? I'm Princess Indy. Pleasure to meet you. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, if you're family, welcome back. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be looking at you as well as your person of interest, but we're going to start with looking at the energy between you all. I retired the retired as romance angels. I think I'm still going to pick one, but I just felt compelled to pick from the chakra oracle deck for you guys. I don't know why. I just listened to the boss man. You know what I'm saying? God isn't really a man. But, you know, euphemism. Moving right along. So the energy between you and your person of interest for August. And this card wants to come out. Vanity. Interesting. Alrighty. So looking at things, pleasure-driven is the first thing that I'm hearing. Looking at things for what it can add to you. Looking at things from an external standpoint. Looking at things how they can solely benefit you, or being too concerned with how your situation looks to other people. Needing to speak your truth. Whoa, religious factors. Your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. Okay, here is the dealio here. Looking at these two cards together, this can fall one or two ways. It could be one, that from an external sense, the two of you are very similar, but on a deep core level, it's more or less, because I look at religious factors as like societal influences as well. It could be different ethnicities. It could be different backgrounds, meaning like how the two of you were brought up. You know what I mean? But it's not wanting to take things for face value. It's kind of one of those situations where if you look at compatibility based on external factors, like both of us went to college, we both have degrees, they make this much, I make this much, and this makes sense practically, but it's a need to look a little bit deeper because I feel like any contention that's happening in the partnership as of now, the root of it isn't really so much external factors, it's internal factors. And I think in order to get insight into this situation and to see it for what it is, there's a need to remove yourself from the situation, not in a physical sense, but meaning like needing to remove, because the vibe I'm getting is like trying something and it's not working, but looking at it from a surface level, it's not understanding why it's not working, because it's like all of the factors are there, all of the pieces to the puzzle are there. Like it's kind of like having like putting a puzzle together and having like the cover, so you like the cover of the box of the puzzle, so you know what it is that you're making. But it's like no matter how much you try to put the pieces together, they're not coming together properly. And it's not understanding how they're not coming together properly because all of the pieces are there, right? But I think there's a need to step back to kind of give yourself a brain break in a sense, so you can look at it again, because you may find that even though you have the box and you have the pieces, that maybe the pieces to the puzzle that you're trying to put together are not for that particular box. And I'm saying that illustratively. Like the picture that's on the box is like of an ocean, but accidentally you have the puzzle pieces for the, you know, Bob Ross like scenic picture. You know what I'm saying? That's why you can't find the water pieces. You know what I mean? So it's a need to step back from the situation, because I feel like looking at it subjectively, you're not able to see the bigger picture to get the solution to the problem. Now, if we put more context into this, I'm feeling the contention in the relationship or any problems or issues that you guys are facing, they are not easily identifiable in an external sense, because like I said, on a surface level, there's nothing wrong. The point of contention is core beliefs, you know what I mean? And not necessarily like in a psychological sense, but core beliefs meaning like cultural conditioning, societal conditioning, ethnicities, like just things that are different on an inherent level, but it's not things that are easily identifiable from the outside looking in, if that makes sense. I hope that that makes sense. But I feel like that's the root of the issue. But I feel that there's a need for you guys to take a step back in order to see things, because it's kind of like whatever methods you're using now or what the approach is now, it's not working and you guys are hitting a brick wall. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like if people are arguing, you're stuck in a demon dialogue where you're just going in circles, going in circles, going in circles because the wrong problem or the wrong issue is being attacked, if that makes sense. I hope that that makes sense, Sagittarius. But anywho, so let's go ahead, because I really feel like it's like viewpoints on life. It could be like two people who have like, okay, it could be like a person, two people who are in a relationship. One person has a growth mindset. The other person has a fixed mindset. One person believes, because it's like people who have a fixed mindset have a tendency to believe like in soulmates, right? Like there's one person that is created for you. People with a growth mindset have a tendency to think that the concept of a soulmate would be completely asinine because they believe that healthy relationships come from two people getting to know each other and growing together. So if you have two people with a growth mindset and a fixed mindset, that could be your religious factors. That would be a point of contention. And it's like on a superficial level, we're not seeing what the problem is here, but it's something that's deep-seated, like interlinked with the inner workings of a person. I may have explained that 1,000 different ways, but hopefully that makes sense, Sagittarius. So anyway, let's get into your individual cards. Sagittarius for August. Whoa. Whoa. First card out, we have the Death card. So the transformation that's going on, I mean, this, I feel like it's a perk. It's more or less like, say if we stuck with that scenario of like a growth and fixed mindset, let's say hypothetically that Sagittarius has a fixed mindset, so it's a certain standard way of perceiving things or approaching things. It's more or less, it's using an old approach in a new situation, and this old approach isn't going to work in this new situation. So it's kind of something that you've been conditioned to do or that you believe is the best approach, but I feel in this particular circumstance, it's not the best approach. This is one of those things where I feel like you're trying to control it, because ideally in past circumstances, gaining control of the situation would be the ideal thing to do. But I feel like in this particular circumstance with this person that you guys are dealing with, your old way of being isn't behooving you, so to speak. So there's a need to kind of relinquish control and go with the flow and allow things to unfold the way that they're unfolding, even though that feels kind of counterintuitive, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And you guys could be dealing with the Scorpio as well. But whatever the case may be, it's a shift and it's a change. You guys are trying to get to another level. You're trying to shift. You're trying to move things forward. But it's almost as if everything is kind of working against you. But I feel that it's an internal shift that needs to occur in order for things to move forward. So it's not looking externally. I feel like the solution that you guys have been trying to find to whatever the issue is here with you and your person of interest, you've been looking external when one needs to look internal. But I also feel that there's not really much looking that needs to happen. We have the Eight of Swords. There's not much looking that needs to happen. It's more releasing and allowing spirit to guide you. Because like when I talked about demon dialogues, it's more or less you're getting stuck in your head, because it's like you're stuck in a reel. So we're talking about like Einstein's quote of, you know, you can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. It's a need to ascend to a higher mindset in order for you to see this. And that's what I meant about that objective standpoint. Wow, the energy has shifted a great deal. Whoop. Then we have the Three of Wands. That's how you guys are going to know, whoa, sweet mother of goodness. Well, all right. We have the World card. And then we have the King of Cups in reverse. So you guys could be dealing with a water sign person. I don't want to say they're emotionally unstable, but I mean, I feel like y'all are having some issues in your relationship right now. You know what I'm saying? Or this could just be representing you. But the whole thing is here, there's a death process that's occurring. If we, you know, use our metaphors and we think about death, when we think about people dying, it's a process, it's a preparation, it's a expectancy, there's a waiting. You know what I mean? We may not be ready to accept it. And I'm not saying this in a sense of a relationship ending or anything of the sort. It's a facet or an approach, a way of being, thinking, or something along those lines within this partnership that has to die off. but it's something that's a divine influence because, of course, the death card is a major arcana. Now, this is spirit trying to create this situation, right? So the death has to happen for this rebirth, this, you know, proverbial ascension to happen, right? And this is what's like happening in 3D in between, right? This is how it's manifesting in an emotional sense for you all. It's creating a sense of unrest because it's like, I don't understand what's happening. And this is making me think about what I wrote down. Excuse me, Sagittarius. Oh my God. Too old for this. Okay. Before I did your reading, be comfortable with not knowing. Being comfortable with not knowing is an epic karmic lesson. Tests come in times that we don't see the answers, right? Sometimes all we know is the destination, but not the how that we'll get there. There's always a plan. The peace comes in trusting God and taking it one step at a time. You may not know, but God knows. In the bigger scheme of things, that's all that really matters. So apparently I wrote that down for you. You're welcome. I think about you. Shout out to you, Danny. If you ever question my love for you, my friend, you know what I'm saying? This is all my love for you right here. Go subscribe to Grizzly Tarot. I'm just saying. Moving right along. So be comfortable with not knowing. I feel what the whole issue is here. There's a desire for you guys to move forward, but the thing that you're not seeing on the back end is that spirit is actually trying to get you what it is that you want. But how that's manifesting feels extremely uncomfortable because it's that whole void of not knowing. It's like, the how are we going to do this? How are we going to make this work? How are we going to bridge this gap? You feel what I'm saying? And I feel like that's causing emotional unrest in you guys. But what I feel like needs to happen is for you to do what's counterintuitive, which is what this card represents. Because, I don't know, the story with this card is really crazy. I'm just going to be real with you. I never quite understood it, but it makes sense today. But it's like these people are celebrating and then all of a sudden like this big, you know, deluge happens. It's just like a flood out of nowhere and everybody's like about to drown. And the idea comes of like, hey, let's just drown. And them deciding to drown is what saves them. So that's what you guys need to do. You feel what I'm saying? In other words, go with the flow. The whole thing is you guys are trying to understand something that's not intended for you to understand because this is divine intervention, right? But the objective viewpoint you guys need to get is attuning with higher consciousness, because I feel like your 3D mind, and I don't even know what I'm talking about, to be quite honest with you. I feel like I'm speaking very generally because whatever it is you guys are dealing with in your partnership, this feels pretty heavy. I'm going to be quite honest with you. It's like there's so much of a distance and a gap, and this may have something to do with travel as well. I mean, you guys could be in a long distance relationship, and it could be not really knowing how, you know, you guys could ever be in the same place because everything seems to be, you know, in opposition to what you guys are trying to work towards. But I always say these things. It's like, as spiritual people, we always talk about divine intervention and laws of attraction and manifesting and all of these other things. But whenever we find ourselves in difficult times in our life, we seem to forget that we're spiritual people. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. It's like everything that we preach on a daily basis to other people, the things that we tell our friends to encourage them in their dark times, this is kind of one of those situations where I feel like Sagittariuses need to practice what they preach in a sense. It's like if you believe that you're co-creating with spirit, if you believe that spirit has your best interest at heart, if you believe that everything in your life is unfolding for you, if you believe that there's a blueprint for your life already, whatever it is that you believe, whatever your spiritual belief system is, I feel now is the time to trust in what it is that you know or stand on. You know what I mean? And it's really about relinquishing control and going with the flow. You feel what I'm saying? Now on to your person of interest. Aw, first card that we have for them is the Lovers. Dag nabbit, son of a gun. So I feel with your person, it's a little bit of contention with them as well, because it's wanting to choose what my heart is saying, but logically what my heart is saying doesn't quite make sense. Next card that we have the Ten of Swords in reverse. I feel that's all fear-based. And again, it's mental energy. Sweet mother of goodness. Then we have the Hanged Man. So it's the same message for your person of interest. It's needing to work. I mean, not work. It's needing to allow. You know what I mean? Because the thing I think is so dope about the Hanged Man, it's kind of like one of those situations that's exactly what I described. from my little meditation. It's just like, it's being comfortable with not knowing. It's understanding that, you know, everything in our life, especially when we end up in situations where we feel stagnated, is needing to take the personal responsibility that the choices and the decisions that we made are what ultimately end us up where we are. Even though there's X factors of other people's behavior, you know what I mean? Like if I leave my house right now and say, oh, I'm going to go get some ice cream, and then like somebody T-bones my car, you know what I'm saying? It's not saying that I chose to get T-boned, but I chose to go get ice cream at the time that I went, where I just so happened to cross paths with this X factor that T-boned my car. You know what I'm saying? And now I got to put the Womack on them. You know what I'm saying? But it's still a choice. You know what I mean? And with the Hanged Man, that's the times in life when our choices lead us to a certain point to where we're at this period where we're waiting for something to happen. There's nothing that we can do to shift things. So we have no choice but to surrender to what is and allow. So for the same things that I'm seeing for Sagittarius is the same things that I'm seeing for your person of interest. You guys are kind of running yourselves crazy trying to fix something that Spirit is trying to kind of intervene to give you a solution, but it's more or less trying to solve a spiritual problem by mental means, and your saving grace is going to be to find peace in the not knowing. You know what I mean? Like, I feel the deliverance for both people in this partnership is being comfortable with the not knowing. And of course, that's extremely difficult, but that's another thing that's coming up that we would want to gain dominion over, is why is it that one feels unrest in a situation where you don't know, you know? But anywho, we're going to go ahead and finish this on the other side. I kind of like how that feels, saying that on Vimeo, on the other side. It's not really the other side. It's a whole nother website. I don't know what the other side is. But anyway, we're going to throw the dice of resonance. If you want to ask a yes or no question, you can go ahead and do that now, my friend. But I'm going to toss these out. I don't interpret these. Y'all already know the spiel because we've been doing this for 1.5 years, people. But I'm going to go ahead and work this out and see what's going on with this. But to be quite honest, and why I'm ending it like this, because y'all know I usually don't like to end readings in a hiatus where you're like, oh, right? But I feel that I have to end it here because you have to be comfortable with this. Because I feel that this is the worst possible thing that I could do to Sagittarius right now. But I feel like this is something that needs to be done. Because this is a lesson for you on your faith and standing in what it is that you're saying every day. You feel what I'm saying? What it is that you're living every day. And I say that not just for you. I say that for your person. I don't know what the purpose of this is. I don't know if it's like a control issue, but it's more or less your peace is found in the darkness, if that makes sense. The answer to your question is no. We have Bay, Lover, Partner. We have Taurus. We have Scorpio. It says Scorpio. And then we have Moon. So no, Bay, Lover, Partner, Taurus, Scorpio, and Moon. Let's throw the dice that have no name. Yep. We have Mars, is that? Pisces, and the number 4. Or is that Mercury? Oh, no, that's Mars. Oh, I had to throw it again. I still haven't written anything for Mars. All I can say about Mars is action. There you go. And then Moon comes out again. So for Moon, it says, Mother, feminine principle, law of polarity. How is your past being recreated in the present? How do you feel about yourself in your relationship? The number 4, our foundational number, your arcana to meditate on is the Emperor, and it says structure and order, master, builder, and stability. All things that you can create on your own, Saggy. But anywho, that's been your reading. We're going over to Vimeo. I love your freaking faces. Let me know what you think in the comments, but I will see you guys sooner than later.